Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the My Lead System Pro Morning Wake-Up Call. My name is Dean Black, and I want to thank everybody for coming out on the intros this morning, especially Mike Herman, who's out there in Los Angeles, who can go to the beach and then be in the mountains skiing in 2 hours. By 2 o'clock, I think he said. So anyway, we had fun. We had fun in the intros. So you can come out in the intros in the morning, about 5 minutes before the top of the hour, which is 10:55 Eastern Time, and come and chat a little bit and say hello before we get the call started. But this morning, we have L5 Leader, and if you go into the back office of My Lead System Pro, and if you're not a member, get back with the person who sent this to you, and go to the Marketing Strategies page. Diane Hoffman has fantastic trainings back there, storytelling, the magic of MLSP and attraction marketing. There's just all kinds of stuff back there. She is a rock star in the whole industry, and we are very honored to have her in this community, and it's my pleasure to welcome her this morning to the call. L5 Leader and EMT member, Diane Hoffman. Good morning, Diane.
Wow, Dean, I'll pay you later. What an intro this morning. Thank you so much. And good morning, everybody. I know I'm here in Connecticut on the East Coast, and I know we at least have Michael on the West Coast. So I know we're coast to coast. I kind of have the funny suspicion that we are global right now. Give us a shout-out in the MLSP group, or certainly tag me right on my wall if you want to say hi. Let me know where you are, because I just kind of love that stuff. I have an incredible call for you guys this morning. I hope you have a notebook. If you don't have a notebook, scurry right now. Scurry, run, find a notebook. But I do hope you have a notebook for these calls, because I have a call for you right now, going to knock your socks off. It's going to blow your mind. And I have to tell you, I have an evil agenda today. Dean will slap me later, but I have an evil agenda today, because this call, this 15 minutes I'm going to spend with you now, is a sneak peek of what we're going to be covering tonight on our Deep Abyss Mastermind call. If you're not familiar with that, if you're a member, you can go right in your back office. I think it's under the store there, or products or something somewhere over there, or you can go to thedeepabyss.com. It's ABYSS. I know it's a little hard to spell. If you're not a member and you were invited here today by someone, get back to the person that invited you and ask them for the proper link to this. This is our monthly mastermind call, and it is some major stuff. I mean, we have people crying, having revelations, incredible stuff, because I am a firm believer. I've been in this profession for 15 years. I've been making money, living, being at home with my kids who are now 18 and 21 for 15 years. I've been so blessed by it, and I'm a firm believer that success comes in your mind first. Success comes in your mind first. So I'm going to give you something really cool. I'm sure most of you guys have heard of Jim Rohn. Hope you have, R-O-H-N. If you haven't today, take a few minutes, go over to YouTube, type in Jim Rohn, R-O-H-M, watch a video. You'll be blown away. He is a very, very famous business philosopher, passed away in 2009. He was a mentor of mine. I spent a lot of time with Jim personally, and then I spent a lot of time on Jim's tapes. And what I'm working from today is a book by a man called Jim Jones, who was Jim Rohn's mentor's mentor. Check it out. I am a historian. This book is from 1957. So Jim Rohn's mentor's mentor, 1957. And on the call tonight, I'll tell people how they can get a copy of this book. It's hard to find, truthfully. Very hard to find, but I know where you can get a copy of it for $4, which I think is pretty cool. And by the way, if you come tonight, it is a paid mastermind, and it is a 30-day money-back guarantee. Download the audios, listen to them. If you don't like them, cancel. This isn't for everybody, but it may be for you. So let's take a listen. I'm going to give you 4 steps to everything you want. It's a pretty bold statement. 4 steps to everything you want. Okay, I'm going to give it to you simple this morning. Tonight, we're going to really dissect it. We're going to do surgery on this thing. So the first one, number 1, you have to identify what you want. Now, guys, I challenge you to try this out. Do it with something small first. Don't be like, I want $1 million. Why don't you come up with something you want this week? Something simple. Okay, identify what you want. Okay, and I talk to people every single day. They've started a home business. They kind of sort of don't really know what they want. So if you don't know what you want, it becomes almost impossible to get it. Not almost, it is impossible to get it. And that's why I encourage you to start with something smaller to work up as you refine your ultimate vision and your ultimate goal. So identify what you want. The next thing you're going to do, number 2, is you're going to behave right now as if it already exists. You're going to pretend today that you already have what you want. So let's say you set a goal that I want to make $500 this week, okay? Starting in this moment, and maybe it's more, maybe it's $5,000 for you. I don't know who's listening today. You may be looking to make your first $5, your first $500, your first $5,000, your first $50,000, your first $500,000. I know that sounds silly, but for me it was like, oh, I want to make my first $500,000 at one point, you know. So, I guess I'm working on my first $5 million if we're going to use fives. So you have to pretend that it already exists, okay? Then what your job is you're to become laser focused on the thing that you want. And number 3 is learn how to say no to interference. What does that mean? You laser focus in on what you want, and then all these different things are going to come up, like something good will be on TV. I don't watch a lot of TV, so I don't know what's on lately, but something good will be on TV tomorrow night, or there'll be a bowling tournament Friday night, or there'll be this or that. And guys, within reason, obviously don't neglect your children. Don't, you look at Dean and Mary, they're always out with the kids doing something cool. They live a very balanced, smart life. So schedule time for everybody. But other than that, all the distractions you need to learn to say no to. And then you need to focus on the how. Okay, how do I make $500 this week? Now, the how, number 4, is the hard part, right? We think that's the hard part. But the reality is that the how is the simple part, and this is what we're going to really work on tonight. I'll break it down for you a little bit now. The how is where you tap your subconscious mind. Okay, sounds a little woo-woo. Just stick with me here for a minute. See, your mind is behaving every day. It's doing things that you've told it to do for the past however many years you've been alive. I've been alive 47 years, and so my brain is doing things habitually based upon my experiences for 47 years. So I do certain things today that cause me to make money because I followed the next steps that I'm going to give you a long time ago, about 12 years ago. Okay, I make money on demand. By the way, this is not an income claim. I'm not saying MLSP is going to make you make money. It's all up to you, but I make income on demand because I use the next 4 steps and I've tapped my subconscious mind. So now my habit is to make money. Can you imagine if you had a habit of making money? It's your habit. It's just what your body, what your brain, what your being does. That's what we're talking about here today. So first thing you have to do, and this will give you an awareness, it'll open your mind, it'll give you a seeing that you never had before. The first thing you have to do is you have to be aware that we are constantly thinking. Okay, as human beings, we're constantly thinking. We do it 24 hours a day. We do it in our sleep. You can't really control the sleep stuff. Although you'd be surprised if you change what you're thinking during the day, the thoughts at night change. But we are constantly, write that down, I am constantly thinking. Now, here's the caveat. Here's something that's really cool. You can only think one thing at a time. This is scientific. You can't think, I'm awesome and I suck at the same time. You can't think, I'm going to do this, I can't do this at the same time. You can only think one thing, which is kind of neat because if you choose, number 3 is you can control your thoughts. So if you choose to discipline your thoughts, right, you can discipline them. You can force yourself, I'll talk about that in a minute, you can force yourself for a little while to think a certain way. You can train yourself. Once you learn, I can only think one thing at a time, and if I control my thoughts, what happens is I change my life. Because today, right now, if you were to take stock of where you are right now, financially, emotionally, health-wise, relationship-wise, if you were to take stock of it all, if we did a little inventory, we would figure out where you are and what you have to know, number 4 in this, because there's two different things here. So 4 are the 4 steps. The first things we went through: identify what you want, pretend it already exists, say no to interference, and focus on the how. Those are the 4 steps to getting anything you want. And then I'm giving you the 4 pieces of the how and training your subconscious mind. So 1, we must be aware that we are thinking beings. Go read The Science of Getting Rich. Go read any Ernest Holmes book. Go read any of these books. If you get into really studying how your mind works, you can change your life if you study how your mind works. We are thinking things. We scientifically know we can only think one thought at a time. Now, I'm ADHD, so I would think I would think 22 thoughts, but the reality is I'm only thinking one at a time. I'm just thinking them in very fast succession. You're only thinking one thing at a time. We all have the ability to control our thoughts through a process I'm going to tell you about in a minute. And right now, if we understand and accept that we are a living result of every thought we've ever had in the past, we can come to understand that if today we take responsibility for our thoughts, then what happens is very soon, within 90 days, even sooner, if we choose to, we can start to become a living result of the new thoughts. And that's what happened to me and every leader in this industry. You guys know Ray Higdon's story. You guys know Michelle's story. You guys know Frank's story. Look at Frank recently. Guys, those of you that know Frank Marino, he changed. Look at his body. He changed it dramatically because he did this. He identified what he wanted. He every day got up and pretended it already exists. He said no to cheesecake and snacks and goodies because he said no to interference, and he focused on the how, which was doing the exercise. But most of us, like me, I'm included, I have to admit I'm a delinquent, we get into the exercise, and what happens is we don't feel like it because we haven't trained our subconscious mind, because our mind is always thinking. We can only think one thing at a time. And in my case, I've allowed my mind to think I'm tired or I don't want to go to the gym, right? I can control my thoughts. Frank did. I can say to myself, I'm going now, and not allow myself to think the other thoughts. And soon what happens is your being, your body morphs, your mind morphs, your income morphs due to the fact that you have changed the thought process. Now, here's the magic that you have. I have 2 minutes left, and again, tonight, I'm going to dissect this. I'm going to show you how to use it. And the coolest thing about our mastermind tonight, The Deep Abyss, is I talk for a little while, and then the group talks. The group discusses. The group mastermind does not sit in the dark and listen to Hockman ramble on. It's I set the conversation up, and then the group takes over. Here's the magic that was given to you by the universe, God, whatever you like to call it. You have the power of decision. You can make a decision. And then what pulls you through temporarily, right? Temporarily, I had to use willpower to get myself to take the daily actions to create revenue. Okay, guys, if you go to your front page, if you log into the back office, if you're not a member, join. Just join. Get back to the person who invited you to the call. Just join. Come for a trial. Check out the community. Check out what we have. But if you go in your back office and you scroll down, right on the front page, there's the 10 daily steps. Okay, 10 daily steps. I had to use willpower to get myself to do those steps every day. I had to use willpower. I had to force myself for a little while. But here's what happens. When you, and by using willpower, I'm causing my brain to think the thought that I want. I'm controlling my thoughts. And through willpower does not last long term, but it can last a short while until you can embed a new thought process into your subconscious mind. And when that happens, the new behaviors become, write this down, circle it, put stars around it, rainbows, whatever you like, automatic. Would you like to, everybody talks about having your business run on autopilot. Well, I don't know about all that. You can automate things and things change and the internet changes, but what I do know is that I can have my mind run on autopilot so that my brain, my mind, right, brain and mind are really two different things. My mind can control my fingers and my mouth to do what needs to get done every day simply and easily, and writing those letters and making those offers and making those transactions and making that money becomes second nature. So we have to close out because it's 1:15. But I just gave you today the 4 steps to get anything you want. Identify what you want. Work on that this week, guys. Pretend it already exists. Guys, enter. When you come, here's a great practice ground. Dean said, you come on at 5 of on Come tomorrow, enter this wake-up call as if you were already in L5. What if you decided to own it now? And what if you use this as your practice ground because you know that you're on that route? What if you knew that you were a six-figure earner? Pretend it already exists. Say no to interference. Learn how to block interference so you could focus on running down that field. And then the how sits in training your subconscious mind by being aware that you are a thinking being, that you can only think one thought at a time. That one was the big one for me. When I realized I can only think one thought at a time, so if I could force myself through willpower to hold the thought, that desired thought in my mind long enough, what would happen is I'd become a living result of all my thoughts. You have decision, you have willpower, and willpower will allow you to turn the habits into something that runs automatically. So guys, this has been the My Lead System Pro Wake Up Call. My name is Diane Hochman. Definitely hunt me down, give me a shout, let me know if you learned something from this call. And for those of you that are interested, it's thedeepabyss.com. You can join us tonight, and every month we have a special call and mastermind session that you can join in and train your mind. Change your mind, change your income, change your life. Take care, everybody.